Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a zone 4B, and I'm finally taking you on a tour of I'm calling it my bird haven garden. It has a lot of roses in it, but it also has a lot of other varieties too. So it started with getting this gazebo for this area to put around the tree stump. I had 2 huge trees taken down, which has turned this into a sun garden. They were shade gardens, so I do have shade perennials along with sun perennials. Don't recommend it, but right now some of these are just holding spots until I figure out what else I want to plant, and just until I can kind of get a little bit more into my budget. I did have some expenses that came up as far as having to get a new lawnmower and new air conditioning unit, so that was a little bit of a shock. But I'm loving this gazebo here I got from Amazon. Got lots of bird feeders. Normally I don't feed the birds in the summer just because I want them to eat the bugs, but I'm loving them, so I will keep feeding them. I do have to fill them up. This is variegated bishop's weed, and this was here probably 15 years. Left it. It is invasive. Don't recommend it. But I do like it. We have not had a lot of moisture. We had 2 storms, or predicting storms, and got nothing. So this is going to look tough if we don't get the rain soon. And we're in the 90s right now. So I do have 4 climbing roses on this gazebo here. They're all the same. It's above and beyond. It is faded due to the 90-degree weather. It's going to be like this for the next 3 days, and then a little bit of a cool down. But it is supposed to be more of an apricot color peach and then fade to this. But it is throwing off a really nice cane. I've been watering the roses, trying at least once a week, if not twice, just depending on me, that is. So yeah, so I have 4 around here. The birds don't seem to mind me. They've been helping with the pests on the roses. They have been kind of getting some of the flower buds, but that's okay. I had the birds in mind when I created this garden. I wanted roses, but I also didn't want just roses. I do think that's just boring. Right now it is shaded in certain spots, which is really good with that weather, but it does get a lot of afternoon sun, so a lot of the shade loving plants are not liking it, and I'm just working with it. I have it heavily mulched. I did move a lot of plants from existing gardens to help fill in spots. Calamargrostis, Carl Forrester. I love that movement. It is a little breezy today. I'm very sorry about the sound quality, but I'm loving that breeze. Mosquitoes have been horrible. You would think with being dry that we wouldn't have an issue. I've been in a flannel shirt even when it's in the 90s just to cope with it. Globe thistle, moved this from an existing garden. Have 3 here. I didn't think it would bloom because it was looking so tough. And then an obelisk here. I'll go around to the front. This is Lady Shallot. The bloom is, of course, all the way over there, just starting. I want to wind it around here. That was a theory behind it. We'll see. I tried the one. I do have to tie it in though. So I did have Hyde Hall ordered, and they substituted more Princess Alexandra of Kent and 1 Lady Shallot. So I was a little bummed about that. It's not like I have a huge amount of varieties that I can pick from in a zone 4B, but that's okay. So this is Princess Alexandra of Kent. It is budding up. This was late emerging. This one's doing really good. Lots of buds forming on there. And a Stilbea I moved last fall, so I'm giving it a chance here. I am watering this when I water the hydrangeas and roses. These were cuttings from, at least 3 years ago. I had them in a raised bed for the last 2. Decided to move them, paniculata, and I can't wait for them to create a little hedge here. But these Princess Alexandra Kent are just gorgeous. Beautiful scent, prolific bloomers. But the color I'm very happy with. It's more of a salmon pink. I love that. And the scent is amazing. But I do have a lot of roses blooming right now. So I would recommend this one. I just have to get in here. This is where I think the birds have been landing or eating. and then getting the buds. More of the grass. This heuchera, pretty pistachio, is not liking the sun. If we had more rain, I don't think this would be happening. I think this would cope better than this. Also ground cover, sweet woodruff and lamium. Again, I'm just leaving it until I kind of have an idea what I want to do. But it's also having to get in there and deal with the ground cover. 3, sceptered isle. I'm still on the fence if I would recommend this one. Very weak growth, slow growth. It is putting off a tiny little bud here, so I will probably at the end of the season let you know which ones I like the best. I did have some other roses ordered from a different company, and I never got them. They just said it was poor rootstock. So I was a bit bummed about that. Another hydrangea cutting. I left this for the time being on the sweet woodruff. Again, it's just kind of a filler right now, but also a shade plant. Did I say Solomon seal? I swear I said. So the Solomon seal is this, and then sweet woodruff. Love that ground cover though. And then another Lady of Shalott. This was a little slower to emerge. So I'm just gonna try and, especially when they're bendable, start working with that. More heuchera, not loving it. I just grouped them all together, just kind of to make a little more of an impact. Dianthus carthusianorum, I started from seed. As it gets taller, bloom stalks. I will edge at some point, not this year, I will be honest. So yeah, Palace Purple Heuchera this doesn't seem to like the sun, or doesn't mind the sun or shade. So I love this heuchera. Nepeta here is looking a little tough, and these are ones I started from seed. They needed to be planted out sooner, but they should do good. It's Nepeta. I'll just shear them back and then they should bloom again. I probably should have been a little bit better about watering, but I really like to make things toughen up. This is more of the Dianthus carthusianorum, and it's been blooming for a month, and I love that. So it does have another bloom stalk down there. And then over here, I'm very surprised to see that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Pulmonaria. I'm addicted to foliage, so that's why it's like if I can make this work, it does wilt. So it doesn't look too good in the afternoon, but it does seem to perk back up. This has thrown off a few blooms. I don't think they're all that pretty, but I love that color, just for that contrast in this garden. And then Rose Campion. This is Angel's Blush. I started from seed. It probably won't bloom for me this year, but next year. But I love that steely, kind of silvery foliage with the blue. And then, of course, the different pulmonaria, the spottedness. I like a lot of foliage in gardens because it helps when things aren't in bloom. Sorry, I cannot stop looking at these. I do have Max Frey Hardy geranium, 3 of them down here. They may or may not stay here. I'm still debating if I want that here. So they don't get tall, but I do want them just kind of act as a ground cover a little bit. Not a lot, but enough where it's just, it doesn't affect the blooms of the other plants. But I don't know. I'd love hardy geranium. It's a low maintenance plant for me. This is a well draining area too. This is just a columbine that's self-seeded. I didn't have the heart to pull it, but it hasn't bloomed, but I've been stepping on it when I've been planting in there. This is Calamintha, a white one. I had this in a different garden. This one's doing really good. It's going to be blooming soon. I think that white with the colors of the purple foliage and the silver will look fantastic. This is Marvelet Blue Calamintha. Again, I'm surprised it came back. Not completely hardy in my zone. Yes, that's a hellebore. It looks good. I'm just making sure I'm not showing it to you when it's wilting. But and then Lady of Shalott here. Look at that. I wish it was in full bloom so you could actually see it. And then this is a blue fescue I started from seed. So the browning is old foliage and me not watering as much as I should. But that steely blue is just gorgeous, and I love that also with the heuchera. So this garden, is it going to stay the same? Nope. It will always change because all my gardens keep changing and evolving. That's the fun thing about gardening. I just love watching the birds. And I do like this. I'm just repeating myself. It is invasive. I have a lot of people telling me that. I'm like, I know it is, but I do like it. So yeah, so I have a lot of groupings of plants just so it creates a little bit bigger impact, or plus I had so many, so I had that option. And in here, I think I know what I want to plant in here. It's just if I get to it this year. Can't wait to see this film. I can't wait to see the hydrangeas. I think that'll look really good to have like a big shrub here. And then they do probably get about, I don't know the varieties. I should have labeled them, but they'll probably get about 5-6 feet tall, and I'll keep them maintained to probably about 4 feet. My only reason is because I don't want to really create too much of a huge area where pulling out of the driveway acts as kind of a blind spot. I don't know if I talked about these hydrangeas. I've had these here now for, this will be its 3rd year. I bought them in the fall 3 years ago from Great Garden Plants, and they were just really dinky, but they were in a 4-inch container, which I don't recommend. It does take forever for it to get to its bloom. But this is, I think, is it Incredible Mini Mauvette, Invincible Mini Mauvette? But it does have flower heads finally forming. I can't wait. I did also move these again early on just to give them more room. They are a smaller hydrangea, but all of that growth is coming from the bottom. That's not on any of the old wood. Oh, I love the sounds of birds. So peaceful. I love the grasses. The one thing I can say about this area, I think the soil's kind of poor. And that's fine because I'm only fertilizing the roses and that's it. But otherwise, this grass here is probably half the size of the ones that I have in the back. And they're the same age, so, which is not such a bad thing. I love that grass, but I love grasses. And these probably will not throw off any plumes this year, but I can't wait to see that at some point. I was just shocked. I feel bad because they're blooming when we're hot, and they do go through their bloom cycle really quick. Blooms are faded, although those are gorgeous. All right, I better fill those bird feeders up. So hopefully you enjoyed, and bye for now.